Jefferson Robbins with NCWLIFe. Every other year, the journalism program at the University of Montana produces Byline Magazine, a project written, edited, and photographed entirely by students. One of those students is Ava Rosvold, a 21-year-old from Wenatchee. Joining us right now, her photographs are illustrating 3 articles in Byline Magazine. Every story in this year's magazine deals with the subject of mental health and the challenges that are facing the people of Montana. So Ava, thank you for being with us today.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
You are a Wenatchee person. You graduated from Wenatchee High School in what year now?
In 2021.
How did you get into photography as a pursuit?
Yeah, so in high school, I kind of dabbled a little bit in photography. I did lots of portrait work. And then as soon as I got to college, I started learning about journalism and kind of got more into the documentary photography world.
What was it about that world that appealed to you? I mean, a lot of people are very satisfied and do very good work just doing portraiture for people, but photojournalism is a little bit different animal. So what was it that drew you to that?
I think I saw that I could actually make a difference in the world. You know, I could tell people stories that needed to be told and inspire entire communities. And I think that's really where I fell in love with the journalism side of photography. I also love portraiture still, but I think I'm just a little more driven into, I really want to do international photography and reporting. And so I think I just found my love there.
Now, Byline Magazine, again, it happens every 2 years at the University of Montana, a journalism program. Did you go into the field, into each story, working closely with a writer, or were you sort of finding your own way into the story?
Yeah, I worked very closely with writers. 2 of the stories I actually got assigned the week of. So that was definitely, you know, kind of a last minute switch, but I just had to kind of learn to roll with the punches. But it was amazing getting to work one-on-one with writers and sources. And one of our professors was actually Chris Johns, who is editor of National Geographic and was a photographer there for years. And so it was amazing to get to work one-on-one with him and really learn the ins and outs of the magazine world.
Sounds like a good mentor. And the stories that you're pursuing were about, again, mental health, the challenges that people face when they're just trying to access mental health. What do you think you learned from working on these projects? There was a range of topics just about the mental health care system in Montana generally, the suicide epidemic among the Chippewa Cree people, the life of a crisis line worker, somebody who tries to help people on the telephone. This is tough stuff. So what do you feel like you learned from doing this work?
I think I really learned that everywhere in America there's this issue. In every community you can find very similar stories, and that, you know, we really need to draw attention to it, and that's, you know, one of our jobs as journalists. And, you know, just that if this is happening to you, you're not alone, and that it's really a global issue at this point.
When you're working with people in any photojournalistic capacity, but especially on a sensitive issue related to themselves, their health, their families, it can be difficult to try and establish trust with people. So how did you get your subjects to trust you or accept you or be willing to cooperate when you were just trying to take their picture?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one big thing is just spending the time with people, kind of opening up to them about things going on in your own life as well can make people feel more comfortable. On the Rocky Boy Reservation with the Chippewa Cree people, you know, we spent 5 days out there, and half of that was just hanging out with families, going to events. I got to participate in a ceremonial sweat, which was very eye-opening. And I think after doing those things, they could kind of open up to us and, you know, realize that we really are trying to help. And yeah, so I think the biggest thing is just time will bring the trust along with it.
How did you get into photography when you were young? Did it start with just, here's a phone camera, play with it? Did it start with somebody giving you an actual camera? You know, how did you move into the field?
Well, in 8th grade, my parents decided to pull me out of school for 2 months, and we got in a motorhome and we went all across the country. And one of the first things my dad gave me on that trip was a Nikon camera, and I just fell in love with photography. And in, you know, every new state, I would just document our trip and our travels, and me and my dad would actually have photo competitions to see who would get the best picture. And I think after that, you know, seeing that I could take an image of what I was seeing in my life and share it with my friends and family back at home, I really realized that photography is a way to tell a story, and I think that's what I fell in love with.
Was anybody else in your family, like your parents, involved in photography as a pursuit or as a profession?
My dad was really big into it in high school, and I'm actually shooting on his old film camera from high school right now. I just took a black and white photography class and am developing my own film in the darkroom, which I've also fallen in love with. And then I'm pretty sure my grandpa also loved photography as well. So I think it's been passed down for a few generations, and I hope my own kids will love it just as much as I do.
You have to be pretty serious about photography to pursue film photography, darkroom developing. These are all things that are kind of lost arts now.
Yeah, definitely. And it's exciting. I think this new generation that I'm in is really starting to find a love and a passion for photography again, which I think has been, with phones, it's so easy. Anyone can be a photographer, but in photojournalism, you really have to have the drive and the passion to get the work done.
Did you contribute photos when you were in high school, say, to the Apple Leaf? Did you have an instructor who guided you when you were working in photography as a student?
In high school, I was really big into theater and singing. So this is kind of before it was a hobby, and then I think I realized in college I actually want to do this for the rest of my life. And so this is kind of my new thing, my new endeavor that I'm going towards. But yeah, I love my professors right now. They've really, changed the course of my life, and they're all amazing.
Ava, you're a senior at the University of Montana, so do you have professional goals for your photography? Do you have a next step that you want to go after?
Yes, this summer I'm going on a reporting trip in Bangladesh, actually. I'm going to be reporting on climate change. I'm very excited for that. And then after that, I've applied to many internships and grad schools. But a big goal would be I'd love to be a National Geographic photographer one day. So fingers crossed.
Also, your work is on Byline Magazine, a publication of the University of Montana School of Journalism. That's at bylinemagazine.com. People can find the whole series on mental health in Montana there, along with your very impressive photo work. So, Ava Rosvold, thanks a lot for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
You're watching the NCWLIFE channel.